on KSMO Radio and online at KSMORadio.com, featuring Tiger Talk with Coach Brian McNamee and Stan Stevens. Tiger Talk comes up next in just a moment.
They say to really know a man, you have to walk a mile in his boots. Well, my channel seedsman has logged more miles than I can count in mine. Every spring, we hit my fields together at the first sight of green. 6 weeks later, he's out here again, checking roots, stalks, soil, like they were his own. As crops grow, so does his commitment to making sure there's nothing overlooked. Nutrients, weed control, pests, disease. He gets an agronomist to weigh in whenever we need a second opinion. The whole time, using the latest technology to document where we've been and decide where we're going. Wheels always turning. And come harvest, we celebrate in the cab. Him working away, making plans for next season. That, my friends, is what they call seedsmanship at work. Look, anybody can sell you seed. Only a channel seedsman gives you everything you need to make the most of it. Find yours at channel.com/boots.
It's time for Tiger Talk, featuring Stan Stevens and Coach Brian McNamee. Heard prior to all Salem Tiger football games. Now Tiger Talk on KSMO.
Welcome to Tiger Talk. Stan Stevens, Coach Brian McNamee, coach of Salem Tigers, headed down to Willow Springs Bears. Kind of in dire need of a win to get back on track. The Tiger offense had slumped, and when you looked at the beginning of this game, Salem Tigers offense still kind of struggled early on in that first half, and then a big play, big pass play, suddenly reignited, or maybe even put together, maybe even reunited that Tiger offense, and boy, it was a whole different story in the second half.
Yeah, it was. We came out offensively slow. Tristan Newman, our quarterback, made a real nice play in the closing minutes of that game, to put a score on the board. Our defense played a good first half of football, and, that kind of lighted the fire under our team going into halftime.
When you look at that play, that touchdown, Tristan got good protection, and Boone was triple teamed and somehow got in between three guys, caught the ball, and then was able to kind of just trot in the end zone. First off, an excellent pass by Tristan, but good concentration by Boone, who's not really a natural receiver, but boy, he's gotten so good since he first started playing football.
Yeah, Tristan put that ball in the air. It was in the air a long time, and he threw it over top of those defenders, put that ball where only Boone had a chance of getting it. And, Boone did a nice job getting into the end zone, making a catch on a ball that was in the air a long time.
Earlier in that first half, you got another big three-pointer out of Mr. Holliday. If I'm 40 yards out, Coach, it's just nice to have a tool like that when you need to get some points on the board.
Yeah, it is. Nick's a weapon. We've said that all season long. Nick's got the leg to go a long way with a field goal, and if you can get him within range and you can't score, then you go to him because he's pretty much money on field goals. He spends most of practice kicking a football, and we have a lot of confidence in him that he's going to put it through the uprights.
When we get into the second half of this game, one of the things that we had seen against Ava was Brandon White. He had a couple of really strong runs and kind of looked like a little bit of a different runner in that game. And then here in this game against the Willow Springs Bears, Coach, he looked like a bull in a china shop. It didn't look like you were going to contain him whatsoever in that second half.
No, we went in halftime and talked to our linemen about, they needed to start, owning that line of scrimmage. They had to, play football the way they could, and we'd seen them play this summer in Farmington. They had to own the trenches. We've been working with Brandon on his lanes and reading his blocks and taking the correct path on the different things that we do over the last couple of weeks. And he's done a real nice job hitting his lanes and his pass and doing a real nice job running the football.
When you take a look at Brandon, he's a big guy, and you don't think he's going to be very fast, but that young man's got some speed once he gets in that open field, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Brandon is a big kid, and he can move. And you get him going in the right direction, he can open up.
When you talk about his running abilities, though, he also has very good hands and caught a very crucial pass on a drive, a 22-yard pass for a first down with a very good catch and a nice pass again by Tristan, but a good catch to get that all-important first down.
Yeah, like I said, Brandon, there's a lot of things he can do for us, and he catches a lot of balls in practice. And, he had the opportunity to catch a ball and turn up field and get positive yards for us. And Tristan did a real nice job putting the pass on the money. Tristan
also did a good job of being very, very generous with the ball. Everybody got a number of different carries in this game, but Coach, you were able to capitalize on every single mistake Willow Springs made, and when you did capitalize, sometimes you had a better field, a shorter field to utilize, and so maybe the number of yards wasn't that great, but you took advantage of every chance to score in that second half and made them all count.
Yeah, our defense put us in real good positions with the ball, and we've been stressing that to our kids that, when you force a turnover, you got to capitalize. And I thought that our team did a real nice job not making mental mistakes and capitalizing on what the defense gave us. Tristan did a real nice job in the second half of settling in to that quarterback position. He got to play the week before. But, that first start, there's a lot thrown at you. He came out in that first half and, was still not understanding the concept that what we practice is the same as Fridays. You just got added pressure. Once we got him to settle down and relax, he did a nice job making checks to the open hole, and he did a real nice job distributing the football.
When you talked about going in halftime and talking to the offensive line about, playing the way that they have to play for the Salem Tigers to win, it looked like they, in that second half, Coach, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they just wore down the Willow Springs Bears, and by late in the fourth quarter, they really couldn't stop us at all, could they?
No, we went in at halftime and we challenged our offensive line to own the line of scrimmage. They hadn't played two back-to-back quarters of football where they dominated and owned the trenches like they're capable of doing. And, we told them there's a three-yard box that we've got to win the war on, in the second half, and it was time to start doing it. And they came out, and that's what they did. They moved the line of scrimmage, and we've got a good set of running backs that can run the football. They just have to have the open door to get through and do what they do. And I was proud of our offensive line for stepping up in the second half. They gained the confidence they need. They were consistent, and they played two solid quarters of consistent offensive line play that we hope carries into Mountain Grove.
And when you have four different backs that score in that game, Coach, in that second half, that all of a sudden gets the attention of other people because now you just can't key on one.
No, we showed our diversity that I talked about early before the season started with the backs that we have. Chandler, does a nice job hitting the hole. He's got speed. You've got Sam that can run with his speed, and he's a bruiser. You've got a bruiser at fullback, and Camden, showed what he is capable of doing. We had a different person scoring on every play.
When we come back, we're going to talk about the defensive side of football for the Salem Tigers right after this on Tiger Talk.
Hi, I'm Bob Kingsley, and it's got to be pretty exciting playing the big stadium gigs, right? But this weekend on the countdown, Maren Morris talks about the venue that she calls the most special of all.
Obviously, the Opry is hallowed ground, so there is that fear of stepping into the circle and forgetting your words or just something crazy. But I think once you get in there, there's this really quiet feeling you have, and you center yourself and just sing. And I don't know, it's like how many thousands of people have stood in that circle and did it. So there is this calm that sort of comes over you.
Maren Morris and, of course, the rest of the 40 hottest hit makers and hits on the radio this weekend on the Country Top 40.
We'll be back with more Tiger Talk after this.
World-class genetics, the latest traits, extensive testing and evaluation. That's what it takes to earn the Morecorn name. We are focused on developing hybrids that work on your farm. When it comes to top-yielding genetics, Morecorn thinks big. When it comes to what works on your farm, Morecorn delivers local. If it's Morecorn, it's got the research and genetics to perform right here close to home. More expertise, more choice, more yield. That's Morecorn. Available at MFA and Ag Choice locations.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Stan Stevens, Coach Brian McNamee, coach of Salem Tiger defense, did a very good job in the first half. Willow Springs actually had the ball a long time in that first half, and Triton Hensley was able to give the ball off, hit some passes, but the Tiger defense just wouldn't break for that first couple of possessions. They moved the ball pretty well, but we were able to stop them, get that ball back, and not let them score until late in that first quarter. But really a great job to keep the game very close in that first half by the Tiger defense.
Yeah, our defense played well. They bent but didn't break. They were pretty good at the short passing game, and their quarterback did a nice job on the pole. Our defense was aggressive and put stops to their drives.
When you think about Triton Hensley and knowing that he is the athlete that he is, and he really is a big part of their team, once we were able to shut down their running game and really did a good job of that with Bailey Ayotte and stuff. He was a good runner. We just kind of stopped him or gave him short gains, but keeping Hensley from just taking off and getting those big long runs that he's known for, that's a big play. And then when he went back to pass, the pressure just got worse and worse on him as the day went on. Where finally, Coach, he was throwing the ball up for grabs at times.
Yeah, we put a lot of pressure on from the outside and the inside. We went into the game wanting to make him feel uncomfortable. Earlier in the game, he was feeling comfortable. He had a rhythm, and we changed some of the things that we were doing and started putting some heat on him. We took their running back out of the game, which put a whole lot more pressure on him. And when he started feeling the pressure, along with that heat, he just didn't feel comfortable, and he was releasing that ball too soon.
Did we change our defensive strategy, maybe throwing a few more blitzes at him? Because all of a sudden the Tigers were in the backfield, forcing the Willow Springs Bears actually to hold on some plays in which we weren't back there in that first half.
Yeah, we put a lot of pressure on him. Like I said, we have a lot of different packages we throw, different situations, and we felt that we could put some heat on him. And just make him feel uncomfortable. When a quarterback has time to sit and time things out, they get in that rhythm, and when they get in that rhythm, they become dangerous. And we want to keep him from getting any type of rhythm.
And Salem Tigers sure did that. And again, kind of forced him to throw some balls early. And also, he gave him some happy feet back there. When all of a sudden he'd look around, he'd see some of those white jerseys closing in, and he would take off when he actually had some receivers open. Coach, that's what happens when you disrupt that timing, as you say, or that flow that he had going on early in that first half. You messed up his entire game plan.
Yeah, it's tough to complete a pass when you don't have rhythm. And, he was on the run quite a bit. He had some kids that may have been open, but the pressure that we put on didn't allow him to get the ball off. And great job by our defense, our kids off the edge, our kids up the middle, and our D-line for the job that they did, bending but not breaking in that first half.
When we come back, we're going to talk about tonight's action as we head down to Mountain Grove to take on the Panthers. We'll get to that right after this on Tiger Talk.
This Halloween, make your house that house, the one that screams Halloween. The Home Depot can help with free delivery on all your online orders of spooky yard decor. Get life-size witches, posable skeletons, fierce-looking dragons, even zombie horses. Yeah, that's a thing. Give those trick-or-treaters the show they deserve and get free delivery on all your online Halloween orders, only from the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Free delivery, no minimum purchase, valid online only.
We'll be back with more Tiger Talk after this.
There's a place for do-it-yourselfers with everything for your car or truck.
At K&H Auto Supply, get RV and Marine antifreeze, 2 for $8 for the gallon size. Superstart 600 peak amp jump starter for $59.99. And AC Delco 6-ton bottle jack for $24.99. Stop by K&H Auto Supply, your Parts City Auto Parts store, right here in Salem.
Parts City. Yeah, Parts City. Parts City.
Welcome back to Tiger Talk. Stan Stevens along with Coach Brian McNamee and Coach of Salem Tigers, now 3-3 on the year. This is a huge game in the SCA as well as for your overall record because the only 3 games left in the regular season, Coach, and it's an uphill battle for Salem because you play schools smaller than you are while your next competitor that's above you, St. James, actually plays schools that are larger than them and they can get bonus points.
Exactly. I mean, these next 3 games carry a lot of points. As far as on the win side, you got to get the win. When you're looking at your district and the teams that are in your district, a lot of those teams are playing equal or up, and there's extra bonus points to be grabbed. We don't have that luxury in the SCA. All the schools in the SCA are smaller than us in class, so we go into those battles with negative points starting right off the bat. So the next 3 weeks are big. It's a big game against Mountain Grove tomorrow.
When they talk about Mountain Grove, and we always think of 5-1, 6-0 at this time of year. They're 2-4, but they have gotten better. They had a couple of tough outings in the beginning of the season, lost their first 2 games. But Coach, this is not a team at Mountain Grove you want to sit there and say, well, this is no big deal. We can go in there and beat them. This is still a very tough Mountain Grove team.
It's a very good Mountain Grove team. They've played some tough schools. They've played a tough schedule. And they've been beat by some good football teams. They're a very aggressive football team, what you expect from a Mountain Grove football team. They've got aggressive linemen, and, they've got aggressive linebackers.
And a lot of times at Mountain Grove, those calls don't always go our way. We know that down there, and that makes things even a little bit more difficult when you go down to Mountain Grove. But you can't blame the officials. You just got to play your game. And what kind of game do we expect to see out of Mountain Grove in this game, Coach? What kind of offense are they running this year?
They run their split back similar to what they've done in the past. They run some option out of it, some kick out, toss sweep. Earlier in the year they were in an I set some and did some I kick outs and option out of the I. The last 2 weeks they've set pretty much in their split back set with double tights, and they're just going to try to control that line of scrimmage and then pound it at you. And then when you get lulled into that, they've got a quarterback that does a real nice job rolling out, running the boot pass. If they get in a tough situation, they will go to a spread set and go to shotgun. They don't like to be in that. But they are really good from what we've seen on film with that play-action pass game. They may only throw 5 or 6 a game, but the 5 or 6 they throw are pretty good.
I always think Mountain Grove is what I kind of call a ball control offense. They really have their offense set around just driving down the field piece at a time, taking the time off the clock. And I doubt if that has changed because that seems to be the way their kids have been raised in the program, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, you go back Mountain Grove a long ways. They like to run the ball. They like to control that line of scrimmage. They wait for you to make a mistake, and then they'll go to the house. You got to be very disciplined on defense, know your rules when you play them. Each position is a key, and you got to do what you're supposed to do and told to do, and not try to do too much. You cannot over-pursue.
When you talk about this Mountain Grove defense, what do we expect to see from them come tonight?
They're very aggressive. They've got a real nice defensive lineman in T.J. Drone. And they've got Trevor Thompson at linebacker, who's probably one of the better linebackers. He was an all-conference linebacker for him last year. A very good linebacker. They like to bring him. They blitz him quite a bit. And you got that big T.J. Drone on the offense and defensive line. And they come at you. They'll play a 4 front, and then they'll go to a 3-3 stack at times. They'll put 5 guys down on the line of scrimmage. They want to own it. They want to own that 3-yard box and let those linebackers flow. Our job tonight for the offensive line is to own that 3-yard box and push them back. So I think you're going to see a game with a lot of trench warfare going on. It's going to be who can own that 3-yard box.
In the past, a lot of times they would blitz from the outside and try and get in and try to get that Salem Tiger backfield before they could really get started, and that has worked for them in the past. Have you seen much of that so far this year?
We've seen some of it. They will bring some heat off the edges, but they appear right now to they don't send both off the edge and 2 up the middle like they used to. They'll bring 1 off the edge maybe and bring 1 up the middle. They've got a real solid inside the tackles to linebackers group of kids, and they think they're pretty solid there, and they want to force you to the outside where they can use their speed to cut you off.
All right, Coach. Well, the very best of luck tonight at Mountain Grove against the Panthers in SCA play. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. Tiger football, it is next.
You've been listening to Tiger Talk, heard before every Salem Tiger football game with Stan Stevens and Coach Brian McNamee.
Reality check number 44.